There we go.
Okay,
Now we're
I
live.
thought we were
Now
live.
we're live. Now we're live. Now we're live.
All right. Awesome. Welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brook Edel, here joined by Jim Bushy. We got some breaking news. So I'm just going to cut to it. Breaking news to break right here, right off the top, the leadoff hitter, Jim Bushy. What's the breaking news?
Here's some breaking news. Russell Westbrook is expected to agree to a buyout by the Jazz. So it's a sign and trade. So he's gonna get traded to the Jazz.
Russell Westbrook.
So he's gonna get traded to the Jazz from Clippers to Jazz, and then the Jazz are gonna. The Jazz plan to buy him out, and he's expected to sign with the Nuggets.
Wow. Okay, so he's going to get traded to the Jazz. The Jazz will effectively go ahead and waive Russell Westbrook. Westbrook will then go ahead and sign with the Denver Nuggets. And he did win, I think he did win an MVP against the Denver Nuggets. Like, I think it was like his final game of it might have been the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, whatever it is. He's still in the Timberwolves division at the end of the day. So congratulations to Russell Westbrook on making it, Westbrook to the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets are adding a piece to get back to the NBA Finals. We'll see. Nikola Jokic and the Serbia team got dusted against the USA Olympic team in the showcase game. That was poetry in motion. LeBron James, Steph Curry scored the first 7 points, and they did not look back. After it was tied 4-4, Curry hit a three, gave him the lead 7-4, and it was just cruise control after that. But Russell Westbrook will be joining the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, 2-time MVP, just won it last year, and then also Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and now Russell Westbrook. That'll be their big four.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
exciting stuff. Yep.
It's gonna be good to see. It's gonna make that division even more better, more stacked. So it's gonna be a fun. Exactly. It's gonna be another fun year.
Absolutely, and I'm ready for it. I mean, rooting for the Timberwolves and just watching the development in the summer league. I was very lucky to get out to the summer league and be able to take in a little bit of the games. I've been watching the games throughout. Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon Jr. has definitely showcased his talents. He has, I don't know if you've seen the one tattoo he has on his right arm. I think it might be right or his left arm. He's a lefty, so it's on his left arm. It's the cheat code for unlimited ammo in GTA.
That's awesome. That's a true gamer right there. That is a true gamer. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Keep shooting.
But okay, so here's the big question though. Here's the big question. Yeah. What GTA game is it from? Like 4, 3, San Andreas? Like which one?
I think it might be San Andreas. I want to say it's San Andreas because it was like, if it was like Vice City or something, I think they would have came out and said it was a Vice City, but I think it was San Andreas. It was like a San Andreas cheat code. All right, that's cool. That's original. You know, that's something that a tribute for him to kind of just like, it means something to him because it brings it back to his love for video games. We love video games, and talking about video games, we're gonna bring it back to sports. College football 25, NCAA 25 came out. It's been talked about all month, and it's finally here.
Okay, so it comes out tomorrow. Like if you pre-order the game, you were able to play it a couple days early. And
right.
Like
the pre-order.
Like I've seen some gameplay, and like I'm so excited. It's so talked about. I if I didn't have to go back home for the weekend, I probably would have bought it already. I probably would have been playing Road to Glory, and I would have been Dynasty. But the big question for you, Brook, if you had to take a team and make a dynasty out of it, what team are you rebuilding? So, what's your rebuilding team, and what team are you that you would rebuild first?
Ooh, okay. Those are great questions, Jim. NCAA, uh, the first team that comes to mind, I would want to rebuild. I want to rebuild. What I'm thinking about, like, what's a good program? I think that doesn't get enough love. I think we got to get South Carolina some love.
You gotta.
South Carolina, like that would be a fun schedule to play. I know you'd be in the SEC, but like, hey, you're gonna have the uh, advantage of being the man that is going to be running that program, and that would just be a great university to really bring a couple championships back to, because they love their Gamecocks, and the fact that you get to play Clemson, and that's going to be a big
Ooh.
rivalry game.
Oh yeah.
So just great atmosphere in those games. Yeah. So it'd be South Carolina. I guess the other team that I would do to just to kind of spice things up. Now got to go all the way to the other side. I would do the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Oh,
So
okay.
that'd be another team that I would like to. Yeah. So play a different. Yeah. Play in a different conference, and then also just kind of bring them into the Big 12, because I know there's been a surplus of teams that just joined the Big 12 from the West Coast. Like I know Arizona, Colorado, yeah, and you're just realizing like, hey, the conferences are always up
Yeah.
for realignment.
Yeah, it is. If I had
Those are my two teams.
those are
Those
your
are my
two teams.
Yeah.
All right. So if I had to pick a team to rebuild, I'm taking like start from ground up. I'm taking a 1-star team. I'm either taking East Carolina University or UConn. It's like just like make them into a powerhouse. But
Okay.
I could go for any team I could pick. So my girlfriend went to Alabama, University of Alabama. She's a big Roll Tide girl. She loves the football team. So I told her this. I'd say, hey, I'm gonna go get this game. I'm gonna play as Alabama. I'm gonna ruin the dynasty because you like them. And I said, let's go Irish.
You're winning all the brownie points there, Jim. You're winning all the brownie points there.
Oh, always.
So again, like I just want to make sure. What did you say to your girlfriend? Like she's a big Alabama fan. Roll Tide. That's like Crimson Tide. That's her team.
That's her team. She went to school there. That's her alma mater. And I go, hey, this new college football game, I'm going to play as Alabama. So, oh, nice, we're going to make dynasty. Go, no, I'm going to make them sure they are terrible and never rise up again. And they're going to change everyone to the Irish.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's funny because, like, you know, she was complete. You gave her the 180 on that.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, the game is gonna be different. Alabama's gonna be in the dumps. They're not gonna be winning national championships. They're not gonna get the 5-star recruit.
No.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, I'm excited though. Like the gameplay is interesting. There's different features. You actually have to study for a midterm.
Yeah.
And you have to maintain a minimum GPA of 2.0.
Yeah.
You know, the old saying, C's get degrees. For this game, the NCAA, they want you to stay, basically eligible as a student athlete, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And then if you do maintain a 3.0 GPA, then you get I guess the badge of a fan favorite because you're not missing games because you're ineligible.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans are going to see you a little bit more on Saturdays and, you know, Thursdays whenever you're playing your schedule on your dynasty. But yeah, just I'm excited to play the game because I know that it's been almost 4,000 plus days since the last one was released. So that was like 2014, so 10 years ago, just to kind of speed up the math for some folks. But yeah, like I think this is going to be one of those monumental games where it's just going to be like, all right, where were you when you played your first NCAA?
Hell yeah.
Once again. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. We definitely got to do a tournament. So that's
Yes.
something that I just want to speak into existence right now. Is that we definitely got to do a tournament, and the fans, you guys all are invited.
Hell
We
yeah.
need a pool. My goal is when Jim, you're in town,
Hell
we're
yeah.
gonna have a console set up in studio, and then we'll just do a tournament. We'll basically just do like a round robin. We could just do like 8 people, whoever signs up.
Yeah.
We'll do an 8 team bracket, and we'll just keep it simple, and then we'll name a champion too on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. And like, get like we'll either get like a copy of the game of someone, or they probably own it. Like we'll get like a little trophy, like we could give them, be like, "Hey, I won this championship. Let's go."
Absolutely, you get a hat, T-shirt, and a trophy.
Oh yeah.
We'll make it work, or you get a copy of the game if you haven't had the copy of the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to be eligible as well. You
Yes,
gotta like and
like and
subscribe to be
subscribe.
eligible for this tournament. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, definitely. Hey, did you hear about the story though? I mean, the Vikings, they're just having a kind of a wild
Yeah.
off season. I mean, they did sign JJ, so that's some positivity. Let's start there.
Yeah.
They did sign JJ. This is Jay Jettas, not
Yes.
JJ McCarthy. So that's the next topic I want to talk about. JJ McCarthy's kind of in the early stages of a holdout.
Yeah.
And he wants to see what Caleb Williams is getting. And I think
No.
he settled his deal not that long ago.
Yeah, he sold his deal, so it was like 5 years, 4.4 or 44 mil with everything guaranteed. I think that was a mistake on the Vikings for not signing him before that, because now he's like, hey, look at this first round. But at the end of the day, like if I'm McCarthy, I'm like, he's the first round overall pick. He's expected to have high hopes for an organization that has been terrible drafting quarterbacks, who don't know how to do anything about it, and they'll suck again. No. No, but no, but like they've had bad times drafting quarterbacks, but they think he's the next guy. JJ could be that guy,
Right.
but he's not given the number 1 overall spot. He's not he's not QB1. He's QB2 right now. He needs to earn QB1 status, even though it's not going to be hard to do with Darnell. But for seeing what he saw,
Right. Sam Darnold? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Like Sam Darnold is probably like licking his chops, like, all right, more playing time.
oh yeah,
And especially when he's holding out and these days in July keep down, you're gonna see right now that Sam Darnold, he's gonna get the keys. He's gonna get the keys to the offense. I'm sure Kevin O'Connell, and installing that new offense, you got to put it on hold, because right now JJ McCarthy is not going to be ready for week 1.
no,
Like we can almost guarantee week 1 against the New York Giants, it's going to be Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold under center, barring any kind of freak injury. JJ McCarthy is probably not going to see too much playing time in like the first quarter of the season.
no, and I think Darnell has been there for every training camp there, so he is able to know the offense more. He knows the playbook. He's getting active, and I understand McCarthy's been there like too, but he's getting more reps. And once the season start, like once the training camps start, which I think starts next week, there's only like he can't be there because he's not under contract. So he's losing valuable rep time to get through all this. So he's wasting out, even though he wants to get the bag.
Absolutely, he's definitely risking it for the bag. And same thing.
Oh, you're roboting here.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You're roboting for a second.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I know we were texting, so I'm just gonna pull up the text. I'm not putting it on the actual video here, but like, I know that we were texting back and forth, and then the one thing that was interesting is the Vikings haven't paid out their entire signing bonus at once before. That doesn't necessarily mean much, as they've never fully guaranteed a 3-year contract, and that was Kirk Cousins' contract that was fully guaranteed. And then they hadn't guaranteed salary into year 2 of the extension, and that was T.J. Hawkinson. So the way Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah kind of running the front office, I mean, there's new milestones for the Vikings. First time doing something different in a way that they're negotiating with their players. And they instituted a paradigm shift with the Justin Jefferson extension. So that in line, you would think the rest of the Vikings players, they were like, hey, doesn't this money kind of trickle down? There's a downstream effect to this. JJ is probably thinking, JJ McCarthy in this case, thinking, hey, like, I'm going to be throwing the football to Jay Jettas. I think I should be compensated as well, or, you know, I am the future for your team. So it's, in a way, it's almost like these rookies, more than ever, I feel like ever since there was a restructure after the Sam Bradford monster contract that we all know, you know, like that was like the end of all that, because he had so many injuries and he was not available for the St. Louis Rams at the time. I know that they came to Los Angeles Rams, and then they went on to draft Jared Goff. And then we'll talk about the Detroit Lions a little bit later, because I want to talk about the Netflix special receiver and Amon St. Brown, Devontae Adams. We'll touch on Justin Jefferson as well in his documentary, George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. But to get back to the Vikings, I feel like right now, when you're trying to build a team that's going to compete against those top teams like the 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, even in your own division, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, and I know the Chicago Bears, they want to leave us in the dust right now because they see this opportunity as like, all right, if the Vikings are not going to get their rookie ready, we're going to make sure that we get Caleb Williams in. They already got Rome Odunze signed, but the final piece was getting Caleb Williams. And I did see that they were able to figure out a deal with a team option to pick up the 5th year, which more than likely these quarterbacks, they're getting paid earlier and earlier. We saw that with Trevor Lawrence earlier in the offseason. The Jaguars took a gamble and trusted in the fact that Trevor Lawrence is going to be their future. And then they went ahead and they secured him, and he's getting Joe Burrow money right now. And I know that's kind of crazy to think that he didn't even have to make the Super Bowl to get the same type of salary as Joe Burrow. But these players are getting paid on future results, future actions. We'll see. With Jacksonville, it makes sense because they don't really want to start over in a division with CJ Stroud.
No.
You don't. You want to win now. You want to compete because that's what Houston's looking to do for the future right now, because they found their quarterback. Now that kind of almost puts you in a knee-jerk reaction of just saying, we have to claim our quarterback because we got to go toe-to-toe with this guy, Anthony Richardson. He's on the horizon, but Indianapolis, they're invested in him. It comes back to JJ McCarthy. Are the Vikings ready to invest in him? And if so, how much are they willing to break the bank to make sure that he's in camp, actually getting these reps? Because Jim, as we mentioned, these are valuable reps that he's going to miss due to the holdout. I'm not too worried about Dallas Turner because I feel like they will get that deal figured out, because he's not going to get the big splash contract because it's on defense, and JJ McCarthy is a quarterback, so it's kind of necessary evil. You need quarterbacks, but at the same time, you got to deal with the quarterback drama.
Listen, I mean, I'm not a big fan of paying rookies who haven't even played a snap those big contracts. Like, I understand they need to make money. I understand that the market dictates the price, but you're paying for future. And what if he fails? Look at Johnny Manziel. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Going to the Browns, he didn't succeed. They paid a lot of money. Look at Baker Mayfield before he left Cleveland. He was supposed to be the future. He didn't do well. He got paid a lot. So at what point does I'm going to pay for the future?
Look at Christian Ponder.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen bust here too. I I agree with that. Like, it's so hard to pay rookies because, like, yeah, you get horror stories like Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football just comes in thinking that he didn't really need to put in the work to be a NFL quarterback. He thought that he was just a superhero, that he
Yeah.
could just show up and then he could just make the plays. I'm sorry, but it's a little different, and I know that they are real life superheroes like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen, and CJ Stroud. I would in like Joe Burrow. Those would be like my top five quarterbacks right now. Where I would say like, hey, if it came down to it, it's like, uh, let's say you're down 10 in the fourth quarter, but you need a comeback. I'm riding with those quarterbacks to get me back into the game and winning that game. But I don't know if I could say that with all confidence with JJ McCarthy because he hasn't played it down yet.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hard to evaluate somebody who hasn't even done it.
and you're going from college where you're playing, the oldest person you're playing is what, 21, maybe 23, 25 maybe.
25, yeah, on a rare case. I mean, with COVID involved and like transfers and all that injuries. Yep.
Yeah,
You're not playing the same level of competition.
Yeah, you're going from playing 25-year-olds to playing 30-year-olds who've been in the league who knows how long, and they know every ins and out of everything. Plus, they're going to a new system. They've learned a new system. If they don't have, and if it doesn't work out, then you have to try to adjust what you're doing, and that take time. That takes away wins. That takes away time on field. That takes away your future earnings, especially then. And you take away the organization ability to go and make like other acquisitions and free agency and trades because of the salary issues.
Absolutely. You're definitely putting you're holding the team hostage, and at the same time, I'm glad that Sam Darnold is on my fantasy dynasty team because this is just guarantees that he's going to play a little bit more.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I was not expecting JJ to be rookie of the year or take the league by storm. That was not my expectation for him this year. The one thing that I do want to see before the first preseason game is that I want him in camp.
yes.
Like, I want him in camp. I want him to be in the quarterback's room. I want him to be learning from Sam Darnold. I want him to be learning from Kevin O'Connell. I want him to be around Justin Jefferson. I want him to be around TJ Hawkinson, even though TJ Hawkinson is not going to be fully a green light to go right away because he's still battling, I believe it was an ACL tear.
Yeah.
It was like Christmas Eve. He tore it against the Lions. But like, yeah, you want that cultivation. And then you also want him to be in the locker room because like he's a rookie. Let him be a rookie and then actually just spend that time with other rookies because they're going to be going through these unique experiences. And JJ, again, I know you're trying to secure financially, but trust me on this. You're playing the NFL. Like, as long as you're smart with your money, you're going to be financially stable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your family's not missing meals, JJ.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're. Oh my gosh. But hey, listen. Let him be him. If he makes a mistake, let him make the mistake. Let him learn. He can't have his hand held his whole time. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, exactly. No, I agree with that. So we put that topic to bed, and then moving forward to wide receivers. I know this is an interesting topic to talk about, but Jordan Addison. I know this is coming up on the 1-year anniversary of his speeding ticket. It was a speeding violation, and I believe he was on 94. 94. Shout out to 94. So he was going 140 miles per hour in a 55, and he was driving in his brand new Lamborghini SUV. And I'm going to post it later onto the YouTube channel, but I think that's something that the fans should definitely just take note of, that it hasn't even been a full year. It was the same week. It was July 20th of 2023. He gets pulled over by a state trooper, and they're questioning him like, hey, what? You play for the Minnesota Vikings? And it's just like, yeah, he plays for the Minnesota Vikings. But at a certain point, they're just like, all right, we don't know how to move your vehicle. Jordan Anderson gets out and then moves the vehicle like over to the side because he just pulled over in the middle of the lane. It's like, okay, all right, that's not the safest spot to pull over, but I get it.
Yeah.
And then once he gets out, and you just see like, all right, they're treating him different. Obviously, now they realize this man's coming from wealth. He's got the Lamborghini, and then they just say, all right, we're just gonna send you home because the story was like he got a call from his sister. He heard about something about his dog, and then that was it. And then that was the end of that story. And then he went off, had a great rookie season.
Yeah.
Was able to really, step up during Justin Jefferson's injury, and he really proved that he could be a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Fast forward almost a year later, you get a news break. Jordan Addison. So you get Jordan Addison come up on the phone. It's a news break. Arrested for DUI. And I was just like, okay. I mean, I wasn't shocked, but it was just more just like, okay, we're on this type of time and energy now. Okay. All right. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I know I was definitely ranting a little bit. I won't rant here because I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste our precious time here. So yeah, like I was just infuriated. I guess that's the best word for it. Because his teammate Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace, died because someone made the same choice as Jordan Addison did.
Yeah.
Got behind the wheel when they shouldn't have. Uber is a thing. The NFL provides a service to their players. This has been talked about countless times in many different results. We heard Henry Ruggs. We heard what Carter. I think Carter for the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a situation where one of his classmates, she lost her life, in the car wreck. So things can go left very quickly. You can ruin your life. You can ruin other people's lives. And seeing Jordan Addison kind of in the same situation a year later, what are your thoughts? I'll open it up to you because I've said my piece.
Listen, drunk driving is terrible. No one should ever do that. Get an Uber, please. Be safe. Get an Uber. You don't want your parents to cry that you didn't make home that night. You don't want someone else's family to cry because their son, daughter, husband, wife, whatever, they didn't come home that night because of a decision that could be easily made. That could be easily said, I'm not going to drive drunk. I'm going to get an Uber. I don't care if my car gets impounded. I'm going to be the responsible thing. Because I will not be responsible. You should not be responsible for taking someone else's or yourself's life. I think Addison should be held accountable. He should not get special treatment because he's a professional athlete. And this is just another sign of and I don't want to get off. I'll say on sports. You can't get special treatment just because you play sports. You can't get special treatment because you're famous. You can't get special treatment because of everything. If I were to do this, or if you were to do this, we get arrested. If we killed someone, we go to jail for manslaughter.
Manslaughter. It gets upgraded. The charge gets upgraded. Yep.
So you can't put other people on pedestals, like for example, athletes, actors. You can't put them on pedestals who are role models, and then they're going to be clicking around.
You said clucking around. You're funny.
Your shirt got me, man. I was just like, okay, how do I work that in? So you can't put them on pedestals and then give them a slap on the wrist for something that
you can't.
we would get in trouble for. The common folks would get in trouble for.
Right. It's like you can't have any sense of like being above the law. Play by the rules because. Yeah, like you said, Jim, no one wants to get that phone call, or no one wants their family members to be notified by the authorities like, hey, sorry, Jim made a terrible choice and sorry, like he's not coming home. And there's other families that are going to be, basically shattered by this. And the same thing, if I made that mistake. Like I don't want a phone call coming to my parents saying, "Hey, Brook made a mistake. He's not coming home," and there's other people that he injured as well. Like,
Yeah.
think about that. Think about the repercussions of that. Like, you're not only you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your family, and you're just hurting your community. And that's just something that here on the 94 podcast we can't stand for that.
No.
So I hope Jordan Addison gets some counseling and some therapy because we do believe in second chances, but this is his second chance. So it's kind of hard to like be like, hey, does he get it? I mean, I hope he gets it because like I was talking to a colleague of mine who's a big Detroit Lions fan, so I'm keeping it related to the conversation. And he saw the story. He said, like, yeah, like sad to see this young brother, and he's an older gentleman. Shout out to Ishmael. But I was like, yeah, you're right. It's only a matter of time before he hurts himself or someone else, and that's so accurate. But I don't want to beat a dead horse here.
Yeah.
There's no point here. The NFL is going to deal with them. Kevin O'Connell is going to be responsible to deal with them.
Yep.
To set an example to the rookies and everybody on that team. He owes it to the 53-man roster that's going to start the season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he has to take responsibility before the league does. I expect 5 to 7 games if he's not in jail.
Yeah, like if he could beat the charges with, like, I'm sure he's going to hire a lawyer. But yeah, like it just I don't know if he's it really hit him yet because the Vikings brass is very upset. That's from Ziggy Wilf on down to Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, on down to Kevin O'Connell, down to Keenan McCardell, the wide receivers coach.
Yeah.
Everybody's pissed. Just imagine what Justin Jefferson's probably thinking, like, hey, this is gonna be my Robin to my Batman. And he keeps he can't get out of his own way. So I'm sure he's gonna have to do a lot of relationship building the rest of this season. And I don't know if it's gonna take I don't know if it's going to be just 1 year. It might be multiple seasons for Jordan Addison.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut, to be honest. Like, you don't want that person on your team who is supposed to be a leader on your team. He's supposed to take the next generation and make them grow up, make them the best of the best, and then have him do something like this. I wouldn't be surprised if he get cut. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's just suspended for a couple seasons. But we'll see where the dominoes lies. Whatever. I mean, the
good thing is no one was hurt. Exactly. The positive, before we put this story to bed, the positive thing, no one got hurt. It was Jordan Addison that hurt his chances to make a bag. Like Jalen Waddle just made a lot of money for the Miami Dolphins as the number 2 wide receiver. Devontae Smith is in line. Yeah, the Waddle, right? Let's get a loop of that, right? but yeah, like it's like you're playing with fire in regards to like just like that. It could be gone. It could be gone. In a snap of 2 fingers, it's gone. And just like that, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shift the gears a little bit.
I got a gear to shift, dude.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and shift the gear here. Where are we shifting?
We're shifting to, this has been the most boring week in sports. Brook.
How so, Jim?
Unless you are a big basketball fan, and this is not trying to throw shade at the WNBA. Not trying to throw shade. I'm actually glad they actually got a great deal. I think they got like a $1 million TV rights, which is awesome, great for them. They deserve it.
And Caitlin Clark growing the WNBA for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
But man, there was no sports on all week. Sunday was the last game. Monday, home run derby. Tuesday was the All-Star game for baseball. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, nothing. Tomorrow, baseball games start up. And I understand, like, you went to Las Vegas, you saw the Summer League, but those games don't really count.
I mean, like, yes, like in the big scheme of things, they don't count. They're exhibition games.
Yeah, they're exhibition games to keep people in shape. It's preseason.
Conditioning. Yeah.
It's conditioning. So, like, in all honesty, really nothing really good to watch. And like I said, I'm not throwing shit at WNBA, the WNBA. I caught a game. It was a great game. I don't watch basketball that much. So, when I say there's nothing to watch, I'm talking about me, myself, and I there.
I got you. I'm going to counter that real quick. I think it was I wouldn't say it was the most boring. I mean, it's probably in like the top 5, like probably like the least active of all the sporting events for a week. Because you had baseball, Midsummer Classic. They're doing the home run derby. You know, they're kind of out of the picture.
Boring.
I mean, that was boring. I would definitely agree with that. I know the home run derby. Teoscar Hernandez won it for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And there was a funny meme out there that Teoscar Hernandez, Shohei Ohtani, and I believe, I don't know if it was Clayton Kershaw, but it was a bunch of Dodgers hanging out, and then Juan Soto was there, and then they were like, "This is like Yankees fans' worst nightmare."
Yeah.
They're actively recruiting Juan Soto, and I feel like Juan Soto is just ready to jump ship because he's been on a couple different teams. And I can definitely see him going to LA and be like, "Hey, this is a way cooler vibe."
Good. Get off the Yankees.
Fact that, hey, you don't have the competition of the AL East because the AL East is one of the toughest divisions I feel like in baseball right now.
It is. You have Baltimore with the Yankees 2 games behind, with the Red Sox 5 games behind. The Rays, I think, are 7 games behind, and then Toronto, I think they're like 15 games behind. I think, I'm not sure. I can actually check, but like it's a great division.
Okay.
I think that's like the only division that's actually close together. Like any team can win it.
Absolutely. I'm paying attention to the NL Central right now. It's a 2-team race between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. My Cubs are kind of floundering. They're below 500, but they do have some promise. I don't know, by the time the trade deadline swings around, will they be sellers or will they be buyers? It would be nice to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a Chicago Cubs uniform. But yeah, go ahead pick up the standings for the AL East.
So it's actually more closer than I thought. But I was in Chicago yesterday trying to fly home.
You were in Chicago yesterday? Okay.
I'm not going to go into the detail because that's not sports. That's not here nor there. That could be a grind my gears situation. But we went to the We went to the sports bar.
Yeah.
And it's a Cub themed sports bar. And it was like, okay, we're chilling, we're having fun, and it's like Cub logos, Cub, like they had like the Wrigley Field, the sign they have there. It was a fun experience. All right, I have the standings for the full MLB. So leading the AL East, we have Baltimore. The Yankees are 1 behind. Sox are 4.5. Then we have Tampa at 10, Toronto at 14.
Okay. So no team is exactly out of it. But Tampa Bay, they have gone on a run. I know Toronto early in the season, they were contending right up there.
Yeah, but now do they trade Bichette and Gurriel Jr. now? Or like
I want to see it. Like I said, I want to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a Cubs uniform. That needs to happen. That's never been on my wish list. And then if the Twins fans might get upset with me, but I feel like Jose Duran needs to be pitching for the Chicago Cubs because we need a better closer, and what better closer to bring in Duran? And he's got one of the sickest intros in sports.
Oh yeah,
right up there with Diaz.
That became like a meme. Like, that's like one of the most overplayed songs for an entrance lately. Just like holy crap.
I know. But it does get the people going. It's like Blades of Glory.
All right, let's move to the Central. We have the Cleveland Guardians leading. We have the Twins, which are 4.5 back. KC at 7, Detroit at 12, and then do you really want to know what the White Sox are?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
32.5 games.
Wow. this is Mercy Rule. Oh, Mercy. Right. Shout out to the White Sox old play-by-play, Hawk Harrelson. He would always say, "Oh, Mercy." All right. So yeah, the White Sox don't look good.
No. All right, so we'll move on
No.
west in the AL. We have Seattle leading it, with Houston making a comeback now, 1 game back.
Okay, Houston's doing their best Undertaker. Okay. Yep.
The reigning MLB World Series champs, Texas Rangers, are 5 games out.
Nice.
The Angels, after losing Ohtani, are...
They just hosted the All-Star game, too.
All-Star game. Angels are 10 games out, and Oakland's 15. Like, I understand they're trying to lose because they're moving, but, like, they can still make a run.
Right. I mean, they do have some good pitching. Okay. So the AL West, AL Central, and AL East.
All kind of close.
Yeah, the AL East seems like it's the closest bunch would be the AL East. Yeah, like I know with baseball going into the second half of the season, the games are just going to get that much more important. So it's a marathon. You know, we're getting through the dog days of summer, and right here on 94 Podcast, we want you to stick through the dog days of summer with us. And we're really going to keep the bats sizzling throughout the summer. We got more content coming up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I want to talk about. I know we're gonna put the baseball subject to bed here.
Yeah.
I'm pause right now because baseball's still going on. We got time to talk baseball.
Yeah.
But for the wide receivers, I know we just watched. I don't know if you saw the Netflix special, but I just got the chance to watch it. I don't want to ruin for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. But I wanted to discuss this real quick, and then we can wrap the 94 Podcast here. All right. So I have a question for you, Jim.
Okay.
I'm looking at this list here, and it's talking about the top 10 wide receivers in the game right now. What do you think is number one right now for number one wide receiver?
Okay, I'm not gonna Google. Hands up, no Googling. I'm not gonna Google everything. I'm gonna take this right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Top receiver, Tyreek Hill from Miami.
Ooh, okay. They have here. Pull it up. For the number one spot, they actually have. Believe it or not, they have Justin Jefferson.
Really?
I know. Like, yeah, you would be surprised. Everybody would be thinking, okay, they got either Tyreek Hill, or they got. Who else is up there? Devontae Adams. But no, they got Justin Jefferson as the number one, wide receiver. And I love it. I love that list. And it continues. It goes Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. And then, I mean, it keeps going. It's just like, okay, for these wide receivers, I mean, like, if you're looking at the wide receiver rundown here, and it is so much talent going on right now in regards to the wide receivers and who do you value, which wide receiver are you kind of looking at as like, hey, like this wide receiver is not going to have as breakout of a year. So they had it as Justin Jefferson number one.
Okay.
And they had Devontae Adams number two.
Okay.
And then number three was Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Number four was CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Then it was Jamar Chase. Then you got to put AJ Brown, in my opinion, AJ Brown. And I think they had number 7 this was kind of like a wild name to hear, but Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua, I mean,
and he's a rookie. He's a sophomore now, but he's coming off a rookie campaign. So that's kind of like, okay, that was kind of like an eye opener. And then it goes 8, Garrett Wilson, New York Jets, Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers, Chris Olave, that's top 10 right there.
Yeah.
What do you think right now? Like, if you were to start an NFL team and they'll give you the first pick of a wide receiver, which wide receiver are you taking and why?
I'm taking Tyreek because of his speed. If you get a quarterback who can throw down deep and you just have him run a post all the way down, he can beat his cornerback, and then he takes away the safety, so that just opens up somewhere else. So he's a, I mean, as much as I would love Justin Jefferson as my wide receiver, he can make the plays, he can make the catches, he makes spectacular catches. Yeah, he'll take two receivers, but there's times Tyreek Hill, his speed can kill you alone. So it's either you either you double team him, or he's gonna beat you with your speed. And if you have a quarterback that can throw downfield, they're gonna get it.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's the home run hitter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, home run hitter. We saw that against Denver earlier last year, where just putting up video game numbers at that point with his speed. Okay. All right. So that comes back to the rookie. Who's the top rookie? You believe the top wide receiver rookie?
Ooh. I can't tell you. I gotta see them play. Like, college is one thing, but I gotta see how they play, because
Okay.
I can't put.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Though.
I would put Marvin Harrison Jr. Right now, before I'm just going off pure college highlights and all that. I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. I know Rome Odunze is definitely going to get a lot of cracks at Rookie of the Year, or like best wide receiver with Caleb Williams being his quarterback. But yeah, I would go Marvin Harrison Jr. and another topic for another day is the NIL deal that Marvin Harrison Jr. is battling with the NFL. We'll cover that, believe me. Trust and believe. But yeah, that would be my rookie wide receiver. But we'll just go ahead and we'll put that.
Before we wrap up the wide receivers,
sure.
This happened last week. Brandon Ayuk requesting a trade from the 49ers. 49ers saying they're not interested in trading him. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I think that's going to be juicy to watch, like how that works. That whole situation between the Yorks, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, how he's going to be able to reel in a talented player in Brandon Ayuk, because he's going to be playing with Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, all leaders. Those all leaders. And if you have Brandon Ayuk saying, "I no longer want to be a part of this team," and you got arguably one of the best running backs in the game, and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I think right now, Brandon Ayuk kind of hurt himself. If I was his agent, I would tell him to
shut up.
Yeah. Like, shut up right now. You're costing yourself millions.
Yeah.
Just play the season. Stay healthy. Pray that you stay healthy this season, and you're in the best situation possible to make a lot of money. And you just got to be patient. And I feel like this generation of wide receivers, they want that instant gratification. They see Justin Jefferson get that bag.
Yeah.
They see A.J. Brown get that bag. They see Amon St. Brown just get that bag for 4 years and $77 million.
Yeah.
But those guys, they put in the work to be number one. You're not a number one. Deebo Samuel is the number one. Even though you have that deep threat capability, got to understand it's not your team right now, so they're not going to pay you according to that depth chart.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good call out. That's a good call out, Jim, because that's going to be an interesting story to follow, most definitely, because the 49ers are going to be one of the top teams, and everybody's going to be gunning for them.
Oh yeah.
Especially for the free agency. Oh, for sure the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be calling up Brandon Ayuk, like, wait one more year. We'll definitely we'll put together a trade package.
Yeah.
Hey, the war never stops in the NFC, and those are two pretty big rivals.
Yes.
The Eagles and Niners, because they've clashed in the NFC a couple of times, and you'll see that with other like outside of division rivals. Niners, Cowboys, that is a rivalry.
Yes.
Because in the 90s, and Steve Young, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens. We'll talk about Terrell Owens too. I want to talk about Terrell Owens next week. He
All
definitely has an interesting story that did pop up. That's involving a postal worker. So like if you guys know what I'm talking about, yeah, that nice little teaser for next week. But here on the 94 podcast, this is going to be a truncated one. Want to make sure everybody's safe. I know we did see the unfortunate event of the assassination attempt on the former president Donald Trump. So I hope everybody's safe in that camp. And then also, it's sad. It's sad that someone's trying to take out a former leader like that. So I'll just leave it at that. Here in the 94 podcast, we do not condone violence. Nope. But other than that, Jim, we do appreciate you definitely making some time today. But this is the 94 podcast. But until the next time, we'll see you at the T.